So today I'll tell you what crazy stories happened in the world this week, because some of them were wild and some of them even made no sense. Like for example, we have an AI that's pregnant, which is weird, I know, like I'll explain it. And we also have China telling influencers to get a degree before yapping about specific topics. We also have the oldest president in the world winning the elections again, and we got beef between Canada and Trump, and a lot more, so yeah. We got a lot of drama today, but it will be fun, so get ready, especially for the last two stories, because those are wild, and let's get started. So remember the Louvre heist? Well, France apparently caught two of the thieves who stole over $100 million from the Louvre. Yeah, they caught them. Apparently one of the thieves was caught trying to board a flight to Algeria, and authorities immediately linked him to the heist. And then a few hours later, a second man was arrested in a suburb outside of Paris. But is that it? Is that the end of one of the best heists of the century? Well, not yet, because there are two more thieves who are still on the run. But honestly, this heist was really impressive. Like, they did it in 7 minutes. They stole over $100 million worth of items from one of the most famous museums in the world, and then they left without injuring or hurting a single person. Like, at least give them some credit for the creativity. But yeah, France is really mad about this. Like, for them, this is an embarrassment, which makes sense. Like, the thieves got in and out without anyone noticing, and this is like the most famous museum in there. Like, it is a little embarrassing. But now the two guys are getting questioned, and over 100 police officers are working on this case, so they want to catch those two guys and they want to get all the jewelry back. So yeah, we will see if they will catch them. We will see what's gonna happen, and obviously I will keep you guys updated. And let's go to the next story. So China is doing something wild to their social media, and they're saying that influencers can't talk about law, medicine, education, or finance, or basically any regulated field without having a degree or a professional license in what they will talk about. But why are they doing that? Well, the influence of China's creators have become huge recently, but they were also seeing a lot of untrained creators giving medical tips or investment advice or even legal opinions without any experience. So China was like, those creators should either have formal training or not talk about those sensitive topics without knowing what they're talking about. But some people are saying that China's censoring people that way. But to be honest, I don't really see it like that. Like, they are telling creators that if you don't know what you're talking about, then don't talk about those topics, especially if those topics could hurt people if they are wrong. Like, for example, medical advice. Like, seriously, people should not be giving medical advice if they don't know what they're talking about. Or legal advice. Like, seriously, imagine getting your legal advice from someone on TikTok and then boom, 20 minutes later, you're in prison because that creator wasn't informed in law, but he just read something out of ChatGPT. Like, seriously, that's what a lot of people on social media do. Like, those are sensitive topics. Like, people on social media can talk about anything, but sensitive topics, yeah, I kinda agree with them there. But I only agree with them if they implement it correctly, and only if. But what would even happen if those creators don't follow the rules? Well, major platforms in China such as Douyin, Weibo, and Bilibili will have the legal responsibility and will have to verify that creators have the degrees or have the license to talk about what they're talking about. And if those platforms didn't, they will pay a fine that could reach 100,000 yuan, which is about $14,000. So it's not a crazy fine, but we don't know yet if it's per creator or is it in general. But anyways, creator in China now can't be yapping about anything that they don't have experience in anymore. But what do you guys think? Like, should other countries do that too? Let me know, and let's go to the next story. Okay, Cameroon is shocking. Like, it's crazy. And if you don't know why I'm shocked at Cameroon, it's because their president, who is 92 years old, won the elections again. So that's the president I'm talking about, and his name is Paul Biya. And before anything, I must say, he does look great for 92. But anyways, he has been in charge since 1982. That's 43 years in power. And when he became president, most people alive in Cameroon weren't even born yet, because over 70% of Cameroon's population is under 35. So he's been there for like those people's whole lives. But thing is, those young people had enough. So Biya won the elections on Monday, October 27th, but a day before that, when people heard that he could win the elections, they protested against him. They were like, no way we want him to win. He's gonna have rigged elections and they don't want him to stay as president. But unfortunately, security forces killed 4 protesters and arrested over 100 of them. But why don't people like him? Well, first of all, bro has been president for 43 years, and he literally changed the constitution to remove term limits so that he could keep running forever as president. Also, he spends most of his time in Switzerland, like he stays at a fancy hotel in Geneva, while his whole country faces poverty, conflict, unemployment. It's crazy there. So yeah, it kind of makes sense why the people there are upset. But now he won the elections, which by the way, a lot of people say were rigged. But anyways, if Biya completes his term, he could be the president at 99 years old. Like seriously, can you imagine? Bro's already the oldest president in the world. Like he's going for the record of the oldest president in history, which I think is 97 or something. Like, that's crazy. And anyways, let's go to the next story. So you know people hate Microsoft Teams, right? Well, people will hate it even more now because Microsoft Teams will start snitching on employees to their bosses. But how? Well, Microsoft Teams is getting a new update that would let the app check people's IP address, and if the person is working in the office, then it will say to their boss that they are at the office. But if they're working at home or they're not at the office, Microsoft Teams will snitch on the employee to their boss. And it would tell the boss that they are not working at the office. Like seriously, yeah. And Microsoft is saying that it's doing this to help companies avoid confusion about where people are working from. But also people are really mad and they're saying that this is an invasion of privacy and you cannot just track people's IP address all the time. But this update is happening. It's coming out on December this year. So yeah, people will be caught a lot in this. And let's go to the next story. So this next one is about celebrity drama, and I don't usually talk about celebrities, but this one is between Canada's former Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, and the famous astronaut who's also a singer sometimes, Katy Perry. But the memes online have been crazy. Like, just look it up yourself, you'll have some fun. And again, I never usually talk about celebrity drama, but I've been seeing this story a lot on my feed and on my social media, so I was like, might as well let you guys have some celebrity gossip, you know, just for a little change. And now let's go to the next story. So Trump has drama with Canada, and it was enough drama that Trump ended all trade talks with Canada and even put 10% extra tariffs on Canada. But thing is, all of that was because of an ad. Yeah, let me explain. So this is Doug Ford, and Doug Ford is Ontario's premier, and he decided to spend $75 million on an ad campaign in the US. He basically put ads for Americans to watch, and in that ad was the former US President Ronald Reagan. Like, it was a speech from him saying that tariffs could cause retaliation, trade wars, and job losses. Basically, the ad was showing that the tariffs were bad and that Ronald Reagan was saying that. And that ad began airing in US media networks like Fox News and Bloomberg. So when Trump saw that ad, he was furious. Like, he was like, oh, that's fraud, that's fake. And he said that Canada used AI to change Ronald Reagan's voice. But thing is, it wasn't even AI and it wasn't fake. Like, the only thing that the ad did was that it took different parts of the speech and then edited it to make it seem like Reagan was really against tariffs. But anyways, Trump was really mad about this ad, and Trump said that he will end all trade talks with Canada because of this ad, which I really think is silly. Like, seriously, those two depend on each other for so many things. Like, why do this? Anyways, Doug Ford said that he's canceling the ad campaign, apparently to make Trump less mad, but that didn't even work because Trump then announced a 10% extra tariff on Canada. Bro just wants the drama, like seriously. Middle school fights are even more serious than this. But yeah, that's what's happening. Trump has drama with Canada now. And anyways, let's go to the next story. This one is dumb because Albania's prime minister said that their AI minister is pregnant. And then he was like, haha, I wasn't serious. Like, as if we actually didn't know that. But yeah, he was a little serious about AI having more babies because the AI minister is going to have 83 babies. Well, not real babies because those babies will be AI assistants to 83 members of Albania's Socialist Party, which means that each member will get an AI assistant. So instead of 83 real humans who could do the work, they got 83 AIs. And I'm not going to complain about AI taking people's jobs. I'm complaining that those jobs are government jobs. Like, Albania got an AI minister and now AI assistants to the party members. So if there's a country that's going to be taken over by AI first, It's gonna be Albania. We know it. Albania will be the first to fall to robots. And anyways, next story. Guys, this is wild because this 16-year-old was handcuffed in school and almost arrested because he had a bag of Doritos in his pocket. Yeah, seriously, so let me tell you the story. So this 16-year-old, whose name is Taki, had a bag of Doritos. He finished it and then he crumpled up the bag and he put it in his pocket. First of all, respect for him for not littering. And anyways, so the school that he's in, which is called Kenwood High School in Maryland, installed security cameras that have an AI gun detection system, which is called OmniAlert. And they installed that a year ago. And that AI that's in the camera would check if anything looks like a weapon. And if it found anything that looks like a weapon, the police would be notified. So now back to Taki. So after finishing his Doritos and putting it in his pocket, he was just chilling outside with his friends. But that AI camera saw him with a bag of Doritos and it was like, yeah, that's a weapon. And then it called the police. So 20 minutes later, 8 police cars showed up and armored officers jumped out and shouted at Taki. And they pointed their guns at him and they yelled, "Get on the ground!" And poor Taki was confused. He had no idea what was going on. Like, even after he told the news that he thought that he was gonna die.
It was mainly like, am I ready to die or like, are they ready to kill me?
Anyways, the police handcuffed him and checked his pockets, and then they found a bag of Doritos, and they were like, "Oops, our bad, we thought it was a weapon." Seriously, they did all that to him in front of all of his friends in school. Like, that's really horrible. And it is really sad that those cameras are needed in the US, and it makes sense that they have them. But Taki's grandfather even said that if Taki flinched or twitched, he could have been dead, which is also really messed up. Seriously, US. It's really wild there. Anyways, let's go to the next story. So for the last one today, we have Saudi Arabia doing something crazy and making a stadium that's gonna be in the sky. And it will be one of the stadiums for the 2034 World Cup. And it's gonna be called the Neom Stadium. And apparently it's crazy because, first of all, it will be 350 meters above ground and it will be super futuristic in a super futuristic city called The Line. And it will seat about 46,000 people and it will have high-speed elevators or transport pods, and it will also use renewable energy like solar and wind, so it's wild, but also super expensive because it's estimated to cost $1 billion. Like, how do they have so much money? Well, okay, wait, oil, yeah, makes sense. But anyways, the construction is scheduled to start in 2027, I guess, and finish by 2032, which is 2 years before the World Cup. But thing is, Saudi Arabia will also have 15 more stadiums for the World Cup, so yeah, they will be spending a lot of money for that World Cup. But again, they got the money, I guess. But now I'm a little curious, what would happen during an emergency even? I guess they're gonna figure it out, but anyways, it's still super cool to see, and yeah, it's gonna be wild in the future, guys. And anyways, that's all for today. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one.